Do you want to know the most important thing to keep in mind in order to survive parenting without completely losing your sanity? Life is a string of phases. Let me explain. This photo was taken while I was going through my divorce. I was severely depressed and felt completely worthless and hated myself, and it all felt so permanent. Turns out, it was just one phase of my life, and it passed. This photo is of my old food stamps card. I was a single mom at the time, working 2 part-time jobs, really struggling financially, and my landlord would give me warning after warning because my rent was late almost every month and he was threatening to evict me, and I just felt like such a loser who would never be able to provide for my kids' basic needs. Turns out, that was just one phase of my life, and it passed. This photo was taken at my oldest son's 6th birthday party. We reserved a bunch of tables at Chuck E. Cheese and invited over 20 kids, and only one kid showed up. So my daughter and this one kid were the only children at this birthday party, and my heart just broke. At the time, my son was being made fun of at school, and he didn't have a lot of friends, and I just wondered if he ever would. Turns out, that was just one phase. And now he has wonderful, supportive friends. This photo is of my youngest at a fancy restaurant, sleeping on my lap under the table because I just needed a night out. And he refused to take a bottle, and I was still breastfeeding, and I was exhausted, and I just needed to leave the house and feel semi-sane for an hour or two. Those days when our kids are little are so hard, and they can feel so lonely. Turns out, that was just one phase of my life, and it passed. This photo was taken during a time when my daughter was really struggling with some teen stuff and life stuff, and I felt clueless. I had no idea how to help her, and most days it felt like she hated me. Turns out that too, thankfully, was just a phase, and it passed. I took this photo after visiting my son at a psychiatric hospital. You can see the hospital bracelet on my wrist. I was a complete mess. I hadn't slept in days. I was so worried. I was trying to figure out how to best help him. I was constantly on the phone with doctors and various therapists and the insurance company, and it all felt so heavy and so terrifying and never ending. And it turns out that was just a really hellish phase. And yes, he still struggles, but he is doing so much better now. And all the other messy and complicated and stressful times, they were all phases too. And they passed. Life is a string of phases. Remember that. I want you to know that if you are in the depths of a really complicated or really painful phase, think of it as right now, not as permanent. And by the way, if you have not seen my It's Not Permanent video, check it out because I think it will help you. But that right now can last a few days or it can last years. And even if it's something that seems very permanent, that grief attached to it is a phase, and the grief will lessen and you will get out of bed again.